Good afternoon. This is Debbie Broughton, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from St. Robert, Missouri. I'm here this afternoon to show you two more Silly Old Bear cards from my 15 that I made using the new Sweet Friends Suite. Sweet Old Friends Suite. So I'm just trying to see that be sure that it's coming up here on my laptop, which my internet is maybe not working the best today. Here it goes. If you're watching, if you could send me a quick comment, that would be great. I love to know when people are watching. And I'm having so much fun with this new stamp set. Actually, it's two stamp sets, some DSP, and other things that are in the suite. Oh, the embossing folder of the 100 Acre Woods. I forgot that. So, I'm just going to wait another 30 seconds here or so that it's exactly 2 o'clock. And then we'll get started. This one is a nice one just to send to people for thinking of you. Here's my extra characters that I have in there. And then here is a birthday one, which also has the extra things in there. They're actually supposed to be in my other ones. I just stuck them in the wrong ones. But we're going to use two pictures from the DSP today to make these cards. So let's start with this one since we have it out. And I just realized I need something here. Okay. So this one is this one here. And our first thing is our card base, which is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4 as usual. Oh, first I thought I didn't put my mat in here, but I did. So this is going to go here. That's going to be that layer. This is for the inside, so we can slip that inside. So now we're going to work with this paper right here because it's too big and I didn't actually cut it out very straight right there. We want to get it to be 5 1/4 long, and let me measure this. If I can find my little ruler. Here it is. Sometimes it hides. And we're going to make it be 3 1/4 tall. So let's start working on this. As you can see for this one, it's not going to have a border on either side just because I want to include as much of the picture as possible. It's just going to have the mat showing at the top and the bottom. So first we're going to cut this right on the hydrangea hue right there. We're going to get it as close to that as we can. And then we're going to turn it this way, and we wanted it to be at 5 1/4. So that works out perfect. Now this way we want it to be 3 1/4 just because we wanted a little bit bigger border. So first, I always like to cut one side off first. So let's cut off this top here first. And then we'll turn it around and cut off this bottom at 3 1/4. That should get it pretty good there. So that is going to go right here. So let's get some gluing done. I did forget to put the lid on my glue lat yesterday, so I might have to get a pin to get it to work today. I do that sometimes. It's sitting over there in its little stand, and when I get done for the day, I forget to reach over and put the lid on. So I have this push pin here that helps me clean it out. There we go. So let's put this on here. Remember, it's going to go from side to side. It's going to be even, and we're just going to have to center it top to bottom. I got a little bit more on the bottom than on the top, so let's move it down just a tad. That's why I like to use the mono-adhesive glue, because I get some playtime, whereas when I use the Stamp and Seal, I have to leave it right where it is. Usually it's harder to move around. Then we're going to glue this to our card base. These are fast and easy cards to make using this Pooh set. I did some other cards before. They were fun folds with this set, and so they had a few more steps and everything. These are pretty much, you can run up to your stamp room and get a card ready to go to a birthday party or something that you're going to. So now let's do our stamping. So we have two things to stamp. We have the inside, which is going to say happy birthday. Because I really thought this looked like a birthday party here on the front. So we're going to put happy birthday on the inside and consider yourself tugged on the outside. We're using the Hydrangea Hue ink. And I have them set up here already. Just have to figure out which ones they are. The happy birthday is easy to see. And this one is the consider yourself tugged. Okay. So I don't know if I got this birthday one on here straight. I was just taking them out of the stamping container and laying them on a block so I could get ready for class, but I didn't really take the time to get it even. So the happy birthday is now even for sure. And we'll see about this consider yourself tugged. I kind of just line them up with the line on my glass mat here. And then be sure that my block is straight. And I do my best to get things straight. So we're going to ink this up. And this comes from Banner Sayings. And I already punched out this banner, which sometimes I like better. Oh, I got that really straight. I surprise myself sometimes. I really usually like to stamp and then cut. But to speed things up, I cut them out ahead of time. So we're just going to put this happy birthday. Oh, I got a little bit too much on the Y. Okay, so we're going to put happy birthday at the top here. Oh, I got it crooked, I think. Nope, that looks pretty good. Okay, then we're going to close this ink. Nope, we're going to need it for one more thing. So let's put these pieces over here and we'll work with our ribbon. I wanted to use something different than the beige color ribbon I've been using, so I don't have any Hydrangea Hue ribbon, so I took this bubble bath ribbon, and I have this piece of scrap paper here from my Stampin' Positioning tool, and I'm just going to lay my ribbon out here, and I am going to change it to be Hydrangea Hue. I'm going to get some ink off here, and I'm going to add it. I'm trying to keep the ribbon from curling up. So I can get all one side and then I'll do all the other side. It doesn't need a lot of ink. We just need to kind of give it a little bit of the color. It really wants to flip over. It must be because I'm doing a video with it. It doesn't really matter because you're going to do both sides, but I want to be sure I get both sides. It just flips right over, doesn't it? Okay, so now we're going to turn it over. And some of it already like soaks through the ribbon, and it looks like it's done on this side also. So you might just have to go over a few parts of it to get it colored in. And so you can, especially if you had some white ribbon that you wanted to use, you could change it to any color that you wanted. So there we go. Now we have some hydrangea hue ribbon. And we're going to take our label here and we're going to put some tear and tape on the back. If you've been watching my other videos on this card, I've been trying to be frugal with my tear and tape, but I got my package yesterday with my new roll of tear and tape. So now I won't have to be thinking that I'm going to run out. I might pick a tool here. Take this off. Now, if you notice, I kind of went over the paper here a little bit, so I am just going to fold that back over. So we are going to go, we're going to start here, and we're going to say loop. You could do this however you like. And I'm going to do another loop here. It comes off the bottom, trying to make them, they don't have to be perfectly the same size, but close. Then we're going to do another loop down here. We're going to just make as many as these as we want to make. I cut like 10 inches of the ribbon. So I think this might be our last one up and then down. So that looks pretty good on that side. So we are just going to trim this off. Let me see. So since I have an end at that end, I probably want to put a end on this, a tail on this side. So I'm just going to use this piece I cut off that's already angled. And I'm just going to stick it right there at the beginning, and I'm going to trim it so that it doesn't come up there and bother my other loops. I always like to try to put ribbon and embellishments on every card because we sell such beautiful ribbon. All right. And then to get that to hold for sure, we're going to make a little sandwich here with another piece of tear and tape. To go across and to hold it up there. And we're not going to take the back off that one. Okay. So now what we're going to do is I cut another banner the exact same size because they don't really come in. They come in a longer side, but both sides are flagged. And the other one that's flagged on the other side. So what I did was I kind of just took it and put it at the bottom and let it show just a little. Can you tell that what I did there? I kind of just started it over a little so that it would come out that side. And I'm going to put some adhesive on here. I'm going to put it on here because it's a smoother area to put some glue on. And I'm going to fix this up here. It's just going to show just a little bit, just to give it some height and a different color underneath it. Not by much. And then we will add this to the top of our card. Okay. And we could put this on the inside of our card now. And then I have this row of honey jars that I used the die to cut out. And then I put Versamark on them and clear embossing powder just to make them look shiny so they look more like jars. And I'm going to put this down here in this corner. And there we go. So there we are, finished with card number 1 for today. I forgot to tell you where these sayings came from. This is the banner sayings, and then the inside is the 2026 virtual card video that they had. That came from that set, the happy birthday. You know, I forgot to do the embellishments and some Stella. I'm trying to hurry here. Okay, so let's do these in color butterflies again because they're outside, so there'll be butterflies flying around. On this one, I kind of used the Golden Glow to match the card base, but for this one, I'm going to use the Hydrangea Hue to match the matte. And so we're going to have a butterfly kind of like up here on this tree trunk flying. And we'll have another one down here. Well, I guess we don't really want them on the ground. We'll put them up here in the sky. And somehow I got them upside down. So let me turn them around. We can't have an upside down butterfly. And our last one will be, I'm trying to decide where we should put one. We could put one down here at the bottom of the tree. I need to get some more. I have another putty thing in my drawer, but I did not get it out because my putty's kind of wearing out a little bit at the top of this. And there we go. So now we have our butterflies flying around. And the last thing we always like to do is some Stella. So who should we Stella? I'm thinking we'll Stella Pooh here. Maybe we'll just Stella them all. They're all having a sparkling time at the birthday party. Eeyore, Tigger, Owl, and Rabbit. And there's some little rabbits sitting down here. Or they might be mice. I'm not sure. And there we go. Finished with card number 1 for today. So let's move on to card number 2. I decided I could do 2 cards because it doesn't really take very long to demonstrate them. So we're going to go to this one next. So for this one I used the Peaceful Pine. Even though Peaceful Pine is not one of the colors that's in the DSP, I think that it goes pretty good with the way they shaded the Garden Green and Mossy Meadow with the crumb cake of the tree. So I decided to make this one be a Peaceful Pine one. We're going to crease our piece of paper, our cardstock base. Now, this time I might have to cut another piece of hydrangea cube because I always try to maybe cut these straight when I'm doing them so I have enough border. But I think I have enough border on the side, but we're going to see after I cut down this picture. So we're going to cut this picture down to 5.5 tall, 5 1/4 tall, and 4 across. So we're just going to have it just a little bit above the trees and a little bit below the grass. So let's try that. Okay, and let's see, we need to go to 5 and that is, right there is 5 1/4. So I don't really have to cut any off the bottom. Okay, then it's going to have to be 4 wide. So we are still going to see a little bit of the vanilla, but I cut it all. So let's see. I'm probably not going to be able to use that piece as my background. I'll have to cut another piece. It would have worked if I would have put this straight. I like to try to save paper that way. We shall see. Oh, I think it's still going to work. Look. It does. So I don't have to cut another piece. I already have one cut. That worked out great. Sometimes it's just so great when something works out. So now I'm just going to put some glue around the edges here because I don't want to get glue in the middle. Otherwise, I will get glue all over my glass mat. And that will make a mess. That's a good tip for when you're cutting out different things, you know, different, like these are so big, so rather than just use a whole sheet, I cut my piece out at 5 1/4 by 4, and then I try to center that in the middle so that it makes a mat, and then I just keep them in the same package with my regular sized hydrangea hue so that I can see what I have when I go to pick out what I'm going to use to make my cards. I used to keep my scraps in a different container. You know, each one had its own little bag and stuff, but I was forever always forgetting to go look. So now that they're both in the same package, when I go to get out a piece, I can find easily what other little pieces I have left. I didn't get this very centered up here. There we go. Okay, so now we are going to decorate. And both of these words come from Lily of the Valley. So I have my little reminder notes in here telling me where my words came from, because believe me, I make these cards all at once and then I put the stamp sets away. Then when I'm going back to try to recreate them, I have to try to remember what set did I use. So I started putting post-it notes inside of them so I don't have to go back looking at every greeting set that I have. So we're going to put Pooh here. Put a little glue on him. We had a very rainy morning, but now it's pretty sunny out there. I have a picnic for my dad's side of the family. Has a family reunion picnic on the last Sunday of June. So that's tomorrow. It's about 2 hours, maybe an hour and 40 minutes away from here. So if the weather holds out, that's what I plan to do tomorrow. And I'm going to put Kanga over here. She's coming to visit Pooh. So the next thing we should probably do is start stamping. So again, we're going to use the Hydrangea Hue ink, and I already have both of the stamps out here on blocks. This one's going to say, to a forever kind of friend. I just love that saying. Sometimes we just have some great sayings. Okay, this label comes from the Sweet Old Words stamp set that comes in the Sweet. So that's where the words come from and the dies. Okay, and then on this one we're going to say, what does this? No, that one says, consider yourself hugged. We just used that one. This one's going to say, to one of the nicest people I know. And we're going to see if I can get it straight. I did not get it straight on this one. That's why it's on a banner on the inside. So we're going to try hard to get this cardstock straight, and then to get my block straight. Pretty good. I'd have to say sometimes I amaze myself that I can get it straight, because, hi Anna, thanks so much for joining me. I hope you're having a good day. So what do we want to put inside here? We're going to put Tigger. I try to use as many of the characters as I could making these cards, because it's just so much fun to cut them out and stick them in different places. So this is going to go in the corner down here. And it still leaves plenty of room for you to write a message and sign your name. So that's going to go on the inside. And I have a little acorn here that we're going to put together. These little pieces. When I did the acorn on the other one, I had such a hard time getting it straight. But this time it seemed to go on there pretty easy. Okay, so we're gonna, I already have this bow tie. I use linen thread this time. On this one I kind of use more like cord, and it's kind of bulky. I kind of like it better when I use linen thread for a small bow. I'm gonna cut off these tails and get a glue dot. I have these glue dots. They're left over from either a kit or a paper pumpkin. And I just kind of use them now in my regular stamping. I'm going to put this down at the bottom, in the middle, and then take the top off. Add my bow. There we go. I don't think we need to cut off the tails anymore. And I'm going to pop it up with dimensionals, which I have right over here are my dimensionals. Yes, I have this big stack of stuff that you can't see off the camera here. Ink pads, dimensionals, ribbons, all for making the cards. Thank you, Anna. I had so much fun making these, and they really are pretty fast to make. Since there's dies for lots of the characters, you don't even have to fussy cut a lot. In fact, you wouldn't have to fussy cut at all. Just sometimes I see one on the one page that we don't have dies for that I like that little scene, so I fussy cut it out. So we're going to put this up here. We're going to get it straight. We're going to get this acorn up here at the top just as a little accent. I really should go back and put some more acorns and oak leaves on all of them. We're going to find our Wink of Stella again. And we're going to Stella the acorn. It's always fun. And I love the new shimmer pens. No, they're not called shimmer pens. They're called shimmer brushes in the new in colors. They're so nice to use and they're so shiny. All right, let's see. All we have left is the butterflies. So last time on this one we used the hydrangea hues, so we should use a different color this time. And I think we could go with the, how about the Barely Blush? Because it doesn't look like we've used very many of them. The Barely Blush and the white almost look the same. I am going to have to get more putty because they're just not coming out right. So we have one. We have two. And we're going to put one way up here in the tree for number 4, or number 3. We're supposed to have odd numbers of embellishments. Got it stuck to my finger instead of to the card. Must have flipped over when I wasn't looking. There we go. So now we have everything. Here is our 2 cards from today. So I probably won't be doing a video tomorrow because I'll be gone at the picnic in all afternoons. But I'll be back Monday and I'm going to do 2 more. And let's see which 2 we're going to do. I can kind of give you a preview so you know. We are going to do this one and this one. So these will be the 2 that we're going to do on Monday. I hope that you'll join me for that. Have a great afternoon. Bye.